Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer channel episode, or rather pop-up. It's a pop-up, but a scheduled pop-up, because I knew that there was something that I wanted to talk about. So we have had a little bit of a development, something that I wasn't expecting for perhaps another couple of weeks, but something that I was hoping for. Let me just turn I've got the TV screen on, I can see it flashing in my face. Something that I was hoping would happen, and I think it finally has. So, of course, you will probably be all aware now that almost all of the major newspapers, royal reporters, you may have seen it on TV networks, are saying that Harry and Meghan have actually moved into Frogmore Cottage. Now, it is the first time that we have had reports that they have actually moved. Up until now, it's all been speculation about when they're moving from Kensington Palace. Have they given up the Cotswolds property? Is Frogmore Cottage ready? Is there delays? Lots and lots and lots and lots of noise. But I would like to point out from the very, very start, we have not had official confirmation that they have moved. However, I think it highly unlikely that we ever will have official confirmation that they have moved. It's a sort of thing that is technically a private matter, so I wouldn't be expecting a big announcement, a big press release that they've moved in anyway. So what we do have to go by is a lot of royal reporters reporting the same thing. Now, I am aware that sometimes they are all a little bit like sheep. They can sometimes report one thing from one source and then everybody kind of follows and reports the same thing, and then an untruth can get put out there. However, I do believe with all my heart that this is different, and I'll go through the reasons why. Lots of things have been happening recently that kind of backs it up. So I'm not surprised that it's happened. I'm happy that it's happened. So I'm going to give it a big fan flap, because all the way through I've always said reports have been coming through that it wasn't going to be ready, but I hoped that it would. And I think what we've seen is a huge, huge push on behalf of all the builders and workmen and workwomen and everyone involved in the project to get this done ready. Because like I said, we are in the zone, and I think everybody just wanted it finished. And the one thing that I think has most definitely helped get things done, do you remember the big white protective covering that was covering Frogmore Cottage? Again, I believe that was not for privacy reasons. That was weather protection. It had to be. It had to be weather protection. So I think it's worked. I think it's paid off. It kept Frogmore Cottage dry. It meant that the work could be carried on. And even though there was a delay, it was expected to be about 3 or 4 weeks. I think they've had a big push, and that delay only ended up being about 2 weeks, which of course I'm really, really happy about. Now, I want to go on to the information around this news, because in the absence of any official confirmation, what we can do is look at all the elements around it to make it make sense. So, by the way, I think the reports that they have moved in originated from Chris Shipp of ITV. Now, he is their news reporter, and I don't think he would have started this, because he would have known that it would have blown up and been big. So if it wasn't true, that would have been a lot of egg or mud on his face and a bit of reputation damage, I think. So I don't think he would have reported it if he didn't believe it to be true. So that's one thing I would like to say at the very, very top of this. So the delay that was purported said sort of 3 to 4 weeks, or maybe just before baby's born. Now, I think it alluded to a short delay, which is what we've had. Whether it would have lasted 3 or 4 weeks, but we've had a short delay, and I think, like I say, they've just had a big push. The other factor is what I spoke about yesterday, about the Lindo wing. As I said yesterday, in case you missed it, I'll repeat. As with Catherine's previous births, the council lodged an application for restricted parking at least a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before the birth. There have been no parking restrictions put in place for the month of April. So I don't think it's a Lindo wing. Oh, hello, Molly. I don't think it's a Lindo wing, which kind of alludes again to the fact that maybe she's not going to be based in London at the time of birth. I think everything is looking more towards a Windsor birth. Not, I don't think a home birth. But before you go on, I don't think a home birth. I think what's more in the picture now, because things have moved, things have shifted. I think we're looking at Frimley Park, which is where the Countess of Wessex had her children. So I'm thinking a Windsor, Frimley Park Hospital birth is more likely to be on the cards. And if we look at the no restrictions outside Lindo Wing, that fits with perhaps the move to Frogmore. So I think that kind of ties in a little bit. Also, I remember about 3 weeks ago when I was in my weekly live chat, my Saturday chat, I had a viewer, and I'm sorry, viewer, I have forgotten your name, I've forgotten your user handle, but I remember you, and you said that you live next, almost really, really close to Frogmore Cottage, the Frogmore estate, where the Frogmore Cottage is, and you saw lots of vans with white goods being delivered. Now, at the time, I said, perhaps, obviously, because of the delay, they'd had them on order and they were just being stored. Now, I still think that they were just kind of being stored somewhere. But if you're having white goods delivered, it kind of alludes to the fact that at least it's nearly ready. Or, you know, even with a short delay, it's nearly ready. So, again, white goods, possibly for Frogmore Cottage, could indicate that it is ready, or at least nearly ready. So I think they have possibly moved in. Also, all of the new things around social media, the new Instagram account, again, it all points to a quickening of the kind of separation of the households. By the way, I don't mean separation in a negative way, I mean separation in a positive way. You know, you've got the Duke and Duchess of Sussex going out on their own, you've got William and Catherine going out on their own, and good luck and best wishes to all of them, really. I mean, you know, oh, I want to see what people are saying. So anyway, lots and lots and lots of, you know, little bits of information, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, and it's all kind of coming together. So I do not think that these reports are untrue. I think, if anything, they're more likely to be true. And like I say, I don't think we're going to get any official confirmation on this. So that is kind of all what we have to go on. But I am really, really, really happy. If they have indeed moved in, I'm very, very happy. But also, let's not forget, sometimes people can be so eager to get in somewhere that they move in ahead of time. So let's just say some of the main rooms are ready, their bedroom's ready, you know, a living room is ready, the kitchen's ready, the bathroom's ready. Really, that's all you need. The rest of the house could be a complete mess, being decorated and furnished and all the rest of it. But they could just have been in such a hurry to get in there that they've just kind of got the main rooms ready, and then everything else is just coming together. You know, I've lived in this when it was being done, and, you know, I had no heating, no boiler, no water, no toilet, no bathroom. I still lived here. It was a nightmare, but I still lived here. So, you know, it can be done. You don't have to wait until something's completely 100%, you know, show home ready. You can just move in whilst things are being finished off. So there is the potential that they've just done that as well, which of course would have meant that the delay would have been kind of less, I suppose, for them. Michelle says, guess that takes my plan about the baby being born at Chelsea and Westminster Hospital. Yes, I think it's looking less and less like a London birth. However, you know, births are often planned well in advance. If they didn't think they were going to be in, then they could have planned a London birth. And let's not forget, it takes 21 minutes by police escort to get from Frogmore to London. So if her waters broke, she could get to London pretty quickly. So I'm not discounting a London birth. I think I'm almost discounting a Lindo wing birth. But Portland is still in the running somewhere. But I think it's looking most likely to be Frimley Park now. Is probably, because everything's shifted because of this news and things that have gone on this week. You know, things have shifted, things have changed. Oh no, people didn't get a notification. Ah. The Gloucesters still live at Kensington Palace. I just saw your comment. Lots of people saying congratulations. Shining Star says, also a good builder always under promises and over delivers. Anne Brewer says, waiting on a 6-minute ad. Why YouTube? Oh no, if you look, I know I say it helps the channel to watch the adverts, but if you get one of those monster 15-minute adverts or 10-minute adverts, you have my full permission to skip. I mean, I wouldn't even sit through a 15-minute advert. I wouldn't. So, you know, if it's like a 30-second one, please, it helps. But, you know, I do not expect you to sit there through, like, you know, a 6, 10-minute, 15-minute advert. I really don't. I wouldn't even do that. Mrs. VSN says, work must have been started on Frogmore Cottage prior to the November announcement. I think so too, but I don't think by too much. But anyway, as far as we're aware, it's all ready and they're in. Fortune says, I think it wouldn't be realistic for Meghan to give birth in the Lindo wing because it's way too far for them from Windsor. 21 minutes by police escort, it's doable. So it's still not completely out of the picture, but I think less and less likely for a London birth. Matilda says, Wikipedia has already removed the Duke and Duchess of Sussex from the Kensington link. Well, that's pretty quick for them, isn't it? Natalia R says, I'm still sticking to my opinion that there is only going to be an announcement after the baby is born. I don't think that we are going to know anything until then. Yes, I mean, they may mention, obviously, once baby is born, that they are going home to wherever their home is. So you are right, we could get a little bit of a nugget of an announcement then, but I don't think we're going to get a separate, we've moved into Frogmore Cottage announcement. We may just see it as part of maybe something to do with baby when baby's born. I think Prince Charles went to Wigan yesterday, but there wasn't much. So I'm going to have to go to different websites around Wigan to try and compile some information, which leads me to my next point, actually, which I want to talk about. Now, where did I put this one? Because I've made lots of notes today. Okay, so my next point is that Harry and Meghan need their own Twitter soon. They really do, my loves. They need their own Twitter soon, because you may have noticed that they've obviously started putting Harry-related engagements on the royal family Twitter. Now, it's getting a little bit crowded, my loves. You know, it was fine for the Queen and lots of the retweets and the work that Princess Anne does and the Gloucesters and all the other supporting members of the family. Great. But in my opinion, and this is my opinion, it's a little bit crowded. And this is only with the addition of Harry. When Meghan comes back to work, my goodness, it's going to be like... And it's almost like they're kind of queuing up to post their little bits. So I don't think we're getting to see as much of Harry's engagements, or we aren't getting the videos that they used to put on the Kensington Palace one. And I don't think it's because of a change of staff, because Harry and Meghan brought over a lot of their key team in the move. Now, of course, you know, I think they still have to move most of the offices still to Buckingham Palace. However, I don't think we're getting what we used to from the engagements coverage on the Kensington Palace Twitter. I've definitely seen kind of fewer photos. I don't think I've seen one video posted. And I know Harry and Meghan have now got their own Instagram, but again, we still haven't seen any videos. And there isn't really like that many photographs. So I think since this kind of transition period, we're not getting a lot. And I really want them to have their own Twitter soon, so that they can start kind of getting back to how they were, maybe even improving things, more photos, more videos, more things that they've taken, or rather their team has taken to post on their behalf. So yes, I think they need their own Twitter soon. Otherwise, we are not going to be seeing that much of like Harry's, from the official perspective anyway, we aren't going to be seeing terribly too much of him. So I think they need to kind of get that sorted pretty quick. Let's see what people are saying about that. Sharon Hill says, I'm not feeling Twitter for them. Too many twits. And you wonder why I'm not on there. We'll talk about Kevin in a moment. I have got Kevin on my list. We're going to talk about Kevin. Fortune says, Meghan loves an array of flowers, don't we all? Though peonies are her favourite. I sure hope she'll plant peonies. I'm sure the garden will probably be the last thing to be completed. But she can get stuck in. Marcelia says the Duke and Duchess of Sussex should not announce anything about the baby until Meghan has delivered and they are about to go home. The racist media have it in for Meghan and she should thumb her noses at them. That is one way of looking at it. Lots of people saying no Twitter. I mean, I'm just looking at it in the perspective of a royal viewer. I don't think we're getting the same amount of coverage as what we were. Oh, Becky, that story. You say, I saw on a website, not subscribed to it, that the Queen said Meghan was not allowed to wear any of Diana's jewellery. Oh, baloney. What a load of old tripe. I read the story. It's a load of complete nonsense. Okay. It also says in that story that Meghan's been banned by the Queen from wearing anything from the royal collection, which is false because Meghan has already worn diamonds and earrings and things from the royal collection. What about the tiara she wore on her wedding day? That was borrowed from the Queen. Then I think on the engagement she did with the Queen, I think she was wearing a pair of earrings. So she's already been lent jewellery by the Queen. And in terms of Diana's jewels, if we're talking the tiara, the Cambridge Lovers Not tiara, well, of course Meghan's not going to wear it because Catherine's got there first and worn it. So that's always going to be a no-no. But I'm sure in due course, whenever there is a tiara occasion for Meghan to wear a tiara, she will probably have one on loan from the Queen. People are also going on about like the Nazim of Hyderabad necklace that Catherine wore. I mean, yeah, if it's something Catherine's already worn, Meghan probably won't want to wear it anyway. So that's a bit of a no-no. And why would the Queen single out Meghan as being the only female member of the family that she doesn't loan jewellery to? She loans jewellery to the Countess of Wessex. She loans jewellery to Camilla. She loaned jewellery to Princess Anne. She loans jewellery to everybody. So why would Meghan be any different? It's a complete load of baloney, sir. Fortune says, I've never had either Instagram or Twitter for years, and yet on the day that you announced that Harry and Meghan were getting their own Instagram account, I signed up and am following. You and 3.5 million other people now. Michael says, Meghan doesn't wear tiaras, the headache. Well, just get rhinestone ones. They're a bit lighter, my love. Okay, we're going to talk about Kevin now. Back to lovely Kevin Keeley from Sussex. We're going to talk to our Kevin from Sussex. Okay, Kevin, if you're looking, I saw on your post lots of royal reporters are there saying, direct message me, I want to speak to you, I want to interview you. They just want the scoop. Okay, I am not a royal reporter. I just comment. So Kevin, if you're watching, you know, leave a message and I can't pay you any money. I haven't got any, but I will give you a fair interview, and put you out to my lovely audience. So there we go. So Kevin, who used to be at Sussex Royal. Now, I didn't quite understand this when I was speaking about it yesterday, but what I've learned since is that actually Instagram changed or took from him the Sussex Royal handle without telling him. I didn't realise that, but I know about that now. So it seems like what happened. So he's still got his Sussex Royal Twitter account. Now he says that he's posting on it now after not posting on it for many, many years, so that they can't take it off him. So I think that's where the main problem has come in for Kevin, is that his account was classified as being inactive. He hadn't posted on it for years and years and years. The same with Twitter and the same with Instagram. So it looks like what happened was Kensington Palace, or Harry and Meghan's team, contacted Instagram to say, look, there's a Twitter handle that we want to use. but it's clearly been inactive for, you know, a number of years. Can we have it? Now, what Instagram has done is gone, okay, we've got a policy about inactive accounts, so that people can't sit on Twitter handles. We'll change Kevin's Twitter handle to something similar. In fact, what they gave him was, I think, at underscore Sussex Royal underscore. So they changed his account to that. So what they've gone and done is said, okay, well, we'll change his Twitter handle and we'll give you the Sussex Royal handle. But what I think they should have done is contacted Kevin first. Not Harry and Meghan, not anything to do with the royal family. I think Instagram should have contacted Kevin and gone, hello, you know, we're Instagram. Are you still using this account? Because actually we've got someone who's interested in the handle. They didn't have to say who, but they said, you know, we've got someone interested in the handle. Do you still want it? We can give you another handle that's very similar if this is an inactive account. Now, Kevin then could have had the opportunity, could have had the chance and the opportunity to say, yeah, it's fine, I don't use it, give it to someone who wants it, I'll take something similar. Which he may well have done. I mean, he may not have done, but he may have just said, oh, that's fine. But I think just taking it from him was not good. And that wasn't Harry and Meghan, that's Instagram. You know, so I don't think we can put any blame on Harry and Meghan for that. They just, you know, their team just spotted that account which they wanted. It was kind of inactive. They asked Instagram, Instagram took it. And I think that's where the little bit of wrong has come in. I think Instagram should quite clearly have just asked him nicely and said, look, we've got someone interested. Do you mind if we, you know, give that handle to the person that wants it, and we'll give you something similar? Maybe he'd have been fine. But I think now he's got a bit of a, you know, he's got the bit between the teeth, and he's desperate not to give up the Twitter handle. So he's posting posts on it to prove that it's still active for Twitter. So what's going to happen with their Twitter handle? I don't know. Could they go for something similar? I don't know. They could go for something Frogmore related for their Twitter handle, maybe. So we'll have to kind of wait and see with that. But, you know, if they did want the Twitter handle, it's possible they could do a deal. It's not unheard of. They could do a deal to kind of, you know, buy that Twitter handle off him. That's not out of the question at all. So yeah, we'll have to just wait and see what's happening. Let's see what people are saying about that. I'm going up a little bit, hang on. Lots of people talking about fake news. Fortune says, I've never had even... Oh, no, I think I've read that one, haven't I? So I was trying to go back up. PP says, these days they are lucky to be able to communicate with people through the internet. It couldn't not be allowed. Let's not push it. Instagram is enough. Well, I think things have shifted. Gone are the days when the royal family need to completely rely on the press, because they can put things out themselves. And I don't think... So I need to sit down. I'm kind of kneeling, so I'm going to just lower the camera and then sit down on my legs. There we go, cross-legged. Ah, that's better. My legs were going to sleep. So I don't think the royal family quite understand that the kind of positions are changing a bit. Gone are the days when they need to solely rely on the traditional press, you know, TV, newspapers, magazines, to put out their word. It's quite evident. 3.5 million followers in a day. You know, people are actively now looking for their sources of news, and people are looking in different places. People are looking on blogs, people are looking on fan accounts, people are looking on YouTube. And, you know, the power of the press is actually less and less and less. I mean, okay, the royal family don't want negative press. I don't think they want to get on the wrong side of the media, but, you know, gone are the days when they need to solely rely on them. And I don't think the royal family quite understand that. Maybe Meghan does. Coming out of a different world, Meghan, I think, definitely does understand that. So I'm hoping we might see a little bit of a change coming our way. Am I wearing Queen Mary's Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara? Yes, I am indeed. There you go. Can you see? It's a beauty. And it suits my big hair. You can kind of see it above my big hair. Marcelia says, I'd like to know where the media get this information about the Queen and her relations to Meghan. They make it up. I'm pretty sure. Mrs. BSN says, I snapped on Twitter and then blocked the bogus royal family channel that has a YouTube channel too. Mary says, yes, baloney on the jewellery. If trolls are going to make up BS, they need to make up something with a kernel of truth. They do indeed. Lady Buckingham says, I don't think it's fair that Instagram should have taken that account. I'm sure they would have come up with something else. I think if they just asked and explained nicely, I think they'd have got a lot further, to be quite honest. Mary Brunn says, Meghan hasn't worn a tiara because she hasn't been to an event requiring the wearing of one. Exactly, that is true. Natalia says, poor Kevin, he's a private citizen and I hope people don't harass him. I think he can look after himself. He seems quite self-assured, which I think is good. If they want it, they've just got to ask nicely. Or rather, Twitter needs to ask on their behalf nicely. Urbanet says, a Twitter account is not a domain. It could be that Kevin is not the owner, but Twitter, depending on their policy. Again, that is true. When you sign up to these social media accounts, it's on their terms. But I think what we're talking about more is just courtesy. It's just common courtesy and fairness. It's nice to be asked, and I'm sure he would have been very accommodating if he'd have been told, that somebody wanted it, and then even if he was being a bit difficult, they could have explained who and why it was so important. It may have changed his mind slightly. Yes, hello to everybody who is out there. How are we doing for time? Oh, we're fine for a moment. Was there anything else on my list? Let me just check. Let's check the list. No, I think we've spoken about everything that I wanted to. So I hope I've explained a little bit about, obviously, the Frogmore move. We haven't had anything official, no official confirmation, but I do think that it is true. I am going to stick my neck out on the line and say that I do think we are looking at the truth here. Mary Brunn says, I think the last time a royal sued a paper, it was for the printing of Catherine's, those pictures with the... Yes, I think it was. Yvonne says, why was he using that name in the first place? Because he's from Sussex and he supports a Sussex team. And I think it's football. I get confused. Rugby or football. One or the other. And then that team's nickname is the Royals. So he made a fan account for this team called Sussex Royal. And he made it years and years and years and years and years ago. But he just had, it's been inactive for about 3-4 years. Dory says, passing jewellery question. Are private organisations still allowed to raise money to buy a member of the royal family a gift of jewellery, much the way they did for the Queen's tiara? Do you know what? I think they are, but there are rules on the amount on the amount of like if they can accept it as a personal gift. I think it's something like under £100 they can keep it, but anything over is included as part of the I think it becomes part of the royal collection actually, and it's logged. But I think if an organisation were to start raising money, for example, if people wanted to buy Meghan a tiara and there was one out there and they wanted to crowdfund for it, I think that would be okay, but it would be part of it would become part of the royal collection. Now, I know with sometimes elaborate gifts, the gifts have been sent back. So I'm hoping that wouldn't happen if that was the case. In fact, I don't think it would, because I think, people wouldn't, the royal family wouldn't know that was a nice gesture. So, I don't know, you'd have to see how it went, I think, would be the main point. But let's just say there was a really, really nice tiara in a New York boutique somewhere, and it was, I don't know, $200,000, and you wanted to crowdfund for it and buy it and send it to her, I mean, what are they going to do? Are they going to send it back? I don't know. It would be interesting to see what happened. All you'd need is 200,000 fans to donate $1 or something like that. Live, Love and Laugh says they don't need Twitter. Instagram is enough. No, they do, because Twitter is quite good for the posting of photographs and videos. Amy says, do you think the Queen ever stepped down so Charles can become king? No. Definitely not. HM the King says, it's his fault if it was inactive. Plus, if they did ask, he wouldn't have budged. He may have done if they'd asked nicely. Red Amalgam says, not just saying this because this is happening, but I think inactive accounts should have a limited amount of time before their handle is up for grabs. For all we know, he could have been dead in a coma. That is true. And I think there is possibly something in that. Julie says the communications team should be aware of the etiquette and should have done due diligence and, if necessary, ask or negotiate or buy him out, but with conditions. Yeah, I quite agree with that. I agree, Twitter is toxic. That's why I do not have an online presence. I have a Twitter account so I can follow people, but it's private. You won't find me, so don't go looking. I am under an assumed name, and it's just so that I can follow the news and interesting stories. But yes, it is very, very toxic. Jojo says, perhaps you would send the Duchess one of my tiaras. I could indeed. Which one would you like, Meghan? Let me know. I'll give it to you on long-term loan. Oh, Sandy says, I haven't heard this. Last night, Harry and Meghan were out together somewhere in a pub. Meghan was wearing Harry's husband green. Oh, you know what? I think I did see a photo of that. Yes. I mean, gone are the days where you used to have to go into, into confinement and close all the windows and doors when you were kind of on maternity. So she's allowed out. Dory says, thanks, it would be amazing to see what would happen if we tried to give Duchess Meghan a tiara. Maybe a push present. Can you imagine if everyone clubbed together and bought her a tiara? That would be... It could be called the Sussex tiara. Sonia says, I'm watching to see if they follow me on Instagram. Oh my goodness, can you imagine? Ooh, do I have a donation? $1.99 from Kelly. Thank you so much. I just saw it on my screen. I will give you a fan flap. Thank you so much. Yes, they could also open Facebook. Jamie says, Meghan's having a girl based on an old clip. I agree, Meghan does like to wear her own jewellery, but, you know, a few pieces of nice jewellery borrowed from the Queen for, you know, a really fancy occasion is okay. Where do you send a letter to Harry and Meghan? I would send it to Buckingham Palace now. I would have previously said Kensington Palace, but now I would send it to Buckingham Palace. Marcelia says, I like the idea of a Sussex tiara. Let me know when we start collecting. You have to find one first, or you'd have to raise enough money and then have one commissioned, maybe. Maybe to our own design. Okay, so I'm going to leave it here. So, thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So, from me in Shropshire, mwah, to you all.